Hungry, hungry hippo. Welcome to another Ernie's Journeys, where we answer the question, where will the journey take us? Today, the journey takes us here. We are at the Appalachian Hall of Fame, which is part of the museum complex at the Museum of Appalachia. Today we're going to be looking at the interiors of some of the museum buildings that they have here. There's 2 or 3 buildings that we're going to look at. Last video we looked at the exterior of the Museum of Appalachia. Today we're going inside to take a closer look. Let's go. So the Hall of Fame Museum is dedicated to the people and the culture of Appalachia. Yeah. Hacker Martin was kind of a Appalachian Renaissance man. He's known for his gun making. So this is a sample of his work. I mean, look at the barrel on this thing, the butt of the gun, not the barrel. Just beautifully engraved. He also made this fiddle. Made this in 1926. Man of many talents. One pioneer by the name of George Burkhart raised his family in the hollow of a tree. And here's an artist's rendition of this tree. This gentleman right here is Sergeant Alvin York, who was a hero during World War I. He is credited with single-handedly capturing 135 German prisoners. He did not believe in killing, so he did this without killing, I believe, a single one. There's a movie about him that you may have seen with Gary Cooper that came out in 1941. It's called Sergeant York, and this is another local hero. You have some of his memorabilia and artifacts here from his life. This is Alex Stewart, a pioneer, cooper, well digger, coal miner, boat builder, logger, blacksmith, furniture maker, tooth dentist, herb doctor, house. Oh my God, so the list just goes on and on. Look at all the things this guy was known for doing. He kind of looks a little bit like my grandpa. My grandpa used to wear overalls like that. These are some of the things that he made. I love this one. Look at this tree knob that someone turned into a piece of art. It's got teeth in it and everything. Oh, it's so creepy looking. This piece is actually called The Devil. The creator, or the finder of this piece, and I guess compositor, I mean, he put it together, was a guy named Casey Jones. Not that Casey Jones. This room is full of all kinds of instruments. There are banjos on the wall. I see some dulcimers back there, some guitars over here, and all of the people that made Appalachia famous, including the Carter family, who of course June was married to legendary Johnny Cash. I love these mountain dulcimers. They're so beautiful. If you've never heard someone play a dulcimer before, look some up right now. There's so many of them. Look at these mandolins. This one's called the tater bug mandolin, maybe because of the shape. And this one was made out of a gourd. And it's fascinating. This little section here is dedicated to KNOX, which was Tennessee's first radio station. Here are some of the names of people that started in Knoxville. Roy Acuff, Chet Atkins, Archie Campbell, the list goes on and on, the Carter sisters. Some beautiful quilts. Any of you fans of the Haunted Mansion will appreciate this funerary wagon. This is the J.L. Bass Funerary Hearse. So its home is in Carthage, Tennessee. This looks like something right out of the Haunted Mansion. And then you can see the deceased right through those windows right there. This is Gull Cooper's Glass Eye. In 1910, this 6-year-old boy was playing with his pocket knife, realized that he needed to tie his shoe, went to tie his shoe, pulled on the string, and pulled too tight, the string broke, and the knife went through his eye. Looks like he needed a glass eye made, so he wore this one until he died in 1979 in Norris. That's his eye right there. So here at the Museum of Appalachia is one of the only places where you can find the work of Harrison Mays. Can you guys see these? Look at these. These are made out of concrete. And Harrison was an interesting figure. In 1918, he was working in a coal mine, and he was trapped in the coal mine, so he asked God to help him get out, and he did survive. He decided that he promised God that he would dedicate his life to sharing the message, and he found out that he was not a great preacher or singer, so he decided to pour concrete and put these signs up all over the US. You can see there's one back there from Arizona, another one from Connecticut. He had aspirations to even get these onto the moon and to other planets. So this one right here, can you see it says erect on planet Jupiter? This one he wanted to put in Brazil. Just remember, if you go to hell, it's your fault. There is so much more to Harrison Mays, the coal miner. I mean, look at this. This was the jacket that he wore. You can see all the crosses. It looks like it was done in Sharpie marker. He was known as God's foremost ad man. This is his bike. Look at this. This bike is dedicated to outer space. I hope to ride it on the moon and many of the planets, erecting sacred signs. Wow. I do like this sign a lot. My religion, Catholic, Protestant, Jew. My politic, Democrat, Republican. And I guess a blank space for whatever else. Languages, I recommend one for all nations. Races, I recommend all in one, yellow, white, and black. This is a replica of the Harrison Mays house built by his son, Clyde. I'll get you the plane view. If you're passing over on a plane, that's what you would see. The art that you see here is from James Bunch, who developed his style of whittling next to the bedside of his wife for about 14 years. She was bedridden for 14 years, and he just stayed by her side, and he learned how to whittle. He was already a carpenter, but he did some whittling and then was known for some more of his folk art carpentry work. And my favorite is this chipper. This is a motorcycle made of wood. All the parts are made of wood. And his signature is always carved out of the wood. You can see his name down there, James Bunch. There's so much fascinating and interesting stuff here. Anyone who has any interest in history, the history of Appalachia, you absolutely should come and check out this museum. Hands down, this is one of the best museums I've ever been to. Right as you enter into one of the museums, you've got this great bank door from the bank in Madisonville, Tennessee. This would have all been done by hand. And when you come into the museum, number 6, So this is what you see when you come in. But I want to draw your attention to something that you're not really going to be paying attention, but it's right in front of you as you enter the door, right in front of that bank vault door. It's this rock right here. This stone was carved by a man named George Price, who was found dead, hanging by the neck from a tree at the mouth of a large cave. Nearby to him, this was in 1922, by the way, nearby to him was this unfinished stone carving. It was his life's work to carve this, and this angelic drawing that you see here is supposed to be his deceased wife. And under mysterious circumstances, they found him hanged from a tree next to this work. Sulfur. And then this would have been the stamp that they used to run the pages with ink on them. And then there's the copper plate, what this was made with. Love all this old packaging. And then this machine was usually tied up to the water wheel of a mill or maybe some other kind of form, and then this would turn and it would power pretty much every kind of mechanical object or device in your mill. You can tell that over the years the rope work just made this really, really smooth from going around. This is probably not the original rope, obviously, but something just like this. What you see here is the tower clock from the Clinton Courthouse, which is about 6 miles away from where we are here at the museum, built in 1892. So this is the actual inner guts of the clock, just like the clock in Back to the Future. This is from Back to the Future 3. This is what they were standing by when Marty and Doc got their picture taken. It was something like this. Then here's the actual clock face itself. It is huge. I have to actually take a few steps back. That's 6. It's bigger than my hand. This place is amazing. Look at this. These are all bear traps, skunk and possum and muskrat traps. Some harnesses for mules and horses. There's a whole second floor here. Look at all these dolls up there, carved from wood. All these different saws. There's so many different kinds here. If you have any interest or love in folk art or just in folk engineering, you absolutely have to come here. Look at this. There's an old counter like you would see in your general store. I mean, this whole section's kind of laid out just like a general store counter. Wow. Look at those cans of lard back there. The Hormel ones. Valleydale, Cloverleaf, Elm Hill. The only one I've heard of is Hormel. I would just like to point out that there is an actual carpet bag here. Someone needs to let the carpetbagger know. If you haven't checked out that YouTube channel, it's excellent. Is this enough cowbell? That's a lot of cowbell. Because nothing says I love you like a heart-shaped stirrup. All kinds of Appalachian folk art. This Indian family is made out of red cedar. Just made 5 miles away from here. I think one of my favorite pieces here is this turtle right here. This one is pretty cool too. That looks like an actual turtle shell. I don't know. Is that an actual turtle shell? Or no, I think it's actually just a carved piece of wood. That's awesome. Wow, look at all of these. watching this. So the guy who made these, Dow Pugh is his name. One of his quotes is, "I may marry me another woman sometime, but I'm afeared she'll want to clean up my house, and I'm just not ready for that yet." And this is him, Dow Pugh, at work. So this museum houses a large portion of Dow Pugh's folk art. He is a local folk artist, and this is just some of his amazing work. So what you see here is Cedar Creek Charlie's. It's a replica of the inside of Cedar Creek Charlie's house. And he was born in the 1890s. When his father died and the other children, he was one of 11 or 12 children, when they all left the home, he stayed to take care of his mother, and he would occupy his time with painting, which you see here with the woodcut like this. This is known as tramp style. And he would paint in this red, white, and blue motif, but it was all polka dots that he used. This is actually a beehive that he had on his property. And this is what the outside of the house looked like. And he lived about 100 miles from here in Lebanon, Virginia. Here he is with his stuff. Very interesting, unique Appalachian folk art style. I do want to thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. New videos post every Tuesday and Thursday. Join us next time when we answer the question, where will the journey take us?